Welcome to Night Doze. Today, we discuss about what happens when one of the most iconic actresses of our time reveals the actors she secretly admires. From unexpected childhood crushes to serious Hollywood legends, Margot Robbie's list will shock you. Leonardo DiCaprio, it's no surprise, this name made the list. Margot's breakout came alongside Leo in The Wolf of Wall Street. But behind the scenes, he was more than just a co-star, he was her mentor. She once called him a wonderful big brother on set. Their electric chemistry was real but entirely professional. He helped her feel fearless during her first major Hollywood role. She credits him for teaching her how to own a scene. Margot even joked that she slapped him for real in a take and he loved it. From Titanic to The Revenant, she calls his work perfect every time. He's her gold standard, and honestly, who can blame her? Viggo Mortensen, when asked about childhood movie crushes, Margot didn't hesitate. Aragorn. That's right, Viggo Mortensen's brooding ranger from Lord of the Rings. She said he was so noble, so intense, so cool. But it wasn't just about looks, she loved his quiet strength. She's watched the trilogy more times than she admit. She once said, "I learned how to fall for a character from Viggo." To her, Aragorn was the definition of a true hero. In an industry full of flash, she loves his grounded, honest acting. Viggo didn't chase fame on that made him iconic in her eyes. She's dying to work with him one day. And we're hoping she gets to. Joaquin Phoenix. If there's one actor Margot is obsessed with, it's Joaquin Phoenix. She called him raw, unpredictable, and deeply real. His performance in Joker is unmatched, she said in an interview. She's drawn to actors who disappear into roles, and Joaquin does just that. They haven't worked together yet, but she's hinted she'd say yes in a heartbeat. She respects how he takes risks every time. She called his acting beautifully messy. Margot said, "I want to act beside someone like Joaquin to be challenged. He's one of those rare actors who scares and inspires her." And that, to Margot, is the mark of true greatness. Matthias Schoenaerts Margot once shocked fans by naming this Belgian actor as someone she dreams of working with. You may know him from Rust and Bone or The Danish Girl. He's not a huge Hollywood name, but Margot sees the depth. She said his performances are so honest, so physical, so raw. He brings silent strength to the screen, something Margot deeply values. She called him one of the most underrated actors alive. He doesn't chase headlines, just unforgettable characters. Margot respects that kind of career more than fame. She keeps naming him in interviews. This pairing feels inevitable, and when it happens, it'll be explosive. Peter Sellers. Margot doesn't just admire modern actors. She's a student of the classics. Peter Sellers, the chameleon from Dr. Strangelove, made her list. She's obsessed with how he transformed himself for every role. She called him a magician with emotion. To Margot, Sellers is the origin of comedic depth. She said, "I watch him before I play characters like Harley Quinn." Why? Because Sellers never played it safe. Margot loves actors who throw away vanity, and Peter did that in spades. She even mimicked his techniques for finding voices. In her words, no Peter Sellers, no Harley. Uma Thurman. Margot's love for Uma comes down to one word: power. She's especially obsessed with Uma's role as the bride. In Kill Bill, she said that character was the coolest woman ever put on screen. Margot called her ferocious and elegant at the same time. She said she rewatched The Sword. Training scenes to prep for Birds of Prey. To her, Uma embodied a kind of quiet rage that made you root for her. Margot admires how Uma gave femininity a sharp edge. In every interview, she lights up talking about that performance. She believes Uma broke boundaries for action heroines. Margot's just walking the path she carved. Bud Corda, surprising name maybe, but Harold and Maude is one of Margot's favorite films. She said Bud Cort's performance as Harold broke her heart and healed it. She loves strange outsider characters, and Bud nailed it. Margot credits this film with showing her that weird can be beautiful. She said, "It's one of the first films that made me want to act." That emotional vulnerability stuck with her. Margot admires actors who don't care about being pretty. Bud Cort was awkward, haunting, unforgettable. and in her eyes that's magic. She wants to create roles like that over and over. Brendan Fraser would never expect Margot to bring up George of the Jungle, but she did. She confessed she watched it 100 times as a kid. Brendan Fraser was her childhood hero, she said. He made me laugh, cry, and believe in good guys. That early admiration shaped how she views charm and acting. Margot even said she cried watching his comeback in The Whale. To her, Brendan represents humility, resilience, and pure heart. She loves how he didn't chase controversy, just great roles. Brendan made me fall in love with acting. She once said, now she dreams of acting beside him. Liza Minnelli's Cabaret made a huge impression on Margot Robbie. She called Liza's performance wild, tragic, and perfect. She loved the balance of light and shadow in that role. Margot's drawn to actors who can do drama and music, just like Liza. She said, that performance is why I chase layered characters. She watches Cabaret before every major role. To her, Liza wasn't acting. She was Sally Bowles. Margot learned how to be vulnerable through Liza's performance. She even copied her facial expressions for Babylon. Minnelli is more than an idol. She's a blueprint. Tom Hardy. Margot has worked with Hardy and called him a beast of an actor. She admired his method, his madness, and his total commitment. She said, when Tom's on set, you step up or get eaten alive. Their time on Suicide Squad, though, Hardy dropped out later, left her struck. Margot loves intensity and Hardy brings it in buckets. He disappears into roles, much like Joaquin Phoenix. She said she studied his role in Bronson before auditioning for Harley. She respects how he chooses challenging, weird, wild parts. No comfort zone, no compromise. It's just raw talent, and that's her favorite kind. Outro 3 suspenseful lines from Legends 2 Curveballs. Margot's favorite actors reveal the soul behind her performances. She doesn't just watch them, she studies them, channels them, and dares to match them. Subscribe to Night Doze, where we uncover the secret influences behind Hollywood's biggest stars